Michelle here from Pink and Maine. Today we're going to be making some cards with the February 2021 Crafty Courtyard kit themed Happy Mail. I want to thank you for joining me, and let's get started with our first card. We're going to start with a card where we use the postcard that's in the kit. I always like to use that for something creative. So what I've done here is I've cut it down a little bit to 3 3/4 by 5, I believe is what I've cut it down to. And I've cut out a scalloped rectangle piece from that really pretty plum colored paper in the kit, just to make a nice background for it. So I'm gonna glue these together. So as you can see, this makes a super cute card front, and it takes literally seconds just to put it together. No stamping, coloring, or anything like that required. So we're going to make an easel card. So basically I have an A2 top folding card, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 folded. And what I've done is on the front of the card here, I have scored it halfway, and then I bend it or fold it in towards the card instead of back out the other way. We're gonna fold it in so it creates like a tent like that there. And we're going to glue the card front, the postcard, just to this bottom portion of the front of the card. That way when you lay the card flat, you have a nice pretty card front. But when you open it up, it's going to stand up. And we have to give it something to stand against so that it doesn't just fall down. So we're gonna open the card up, and on the inside, I've created my sentiment. I stamped from the stamp set in the kit, "I hope this finds you smiling." And then I just cut a couple of layering pieces out of the shiny yellow cardstock in the kit and that plum again. And I just cut a couple of strips of paper, and we're gonna glue them down to the inside of the card. And I'm also going to add a little floral piece there just to jazz it up a bit. And I stamped that from the stamp set and colored it in. So let's see where we want. That looks about right to me, about right there. So let's glue these down. And there, so we have our sentiments and the little flower on the inside. And here's the front of our card. And then it's gonna stand up like so, like an easel, so someone could nicely display that once they receive it and just leave it up. So there is our first card. Now we could always, I think I will, we can always jazz up the front of the postcard with a little sparkle and shine from these glitter enamel dots. There we go, there is our first card, a fun easel card. For our next card, we're gonna use this stamp. It's this really pretty envelope with the flowers. I've just quickly colored them in with some Copic markers, and then I stamped in a teal ink, "Dearest Friend." So all the little sentiments in the stamp set, they'll fit on that little note that's sticking out of the envelope. And then this card, I thought I'd just create an interesting window for the image to sit in. With our layered oval dies, I've cut a piece of pattern paper that's this exact same size as the front of the card. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I cut one of the ovals out of the corner. Just took that corner off with the oval. And then the front of the card, I did the same thing, but I used an oval that was slightly larger. So what it does is it gives me that nice little border of that patterned paper. But I didn't want it to just all be open. So I took a piece of acetate or a transparency sheet, whatever you have, and we're gonna slide that in between these two, and we're gonna glue that down on the inside. So actually you do have a complete card front. It's just this corner here is gonna be clear. So we're gonna see through to the back of the card. So on the inside or back of the card, we're gonna put another piece of patterned paper, this really pretty plaid, and our card is gonna look something like that. So let's glue some of these layers together. I don't wanna get the glue too close to the edge of the oval here, because remember, we're gonna see a little bit of this on the front of the card. So now I'm gonna glue this piece to the inside of the card front. Okay, and there we have our card started. It looks nice on the inside because we use that pattern paper. So we have another just pattern that shows there. I'm gonna glue down this plaid here. All right, so here is progress on the card. Open it up, you have plaid. I did cut a strip of that plum pattern paper that I thought I'd put along the edge of the card here, just to kind of balance out the other side and add a little bit more color to the outside. There we go. And now we're going to adhere our envelope. There, I think that turned out really pretty. And it's something different with the clear part of the card. And so the inside doesn't look so pretty right here. I think what I'll do is just die cut another envelope and put it over on this side so it doesn't show my coloring on the back. That looks really nice. And we'll just add, of course, some of our enamel dots with the glitter to finish it off. There, I finished our card. It's a nice, unique, different look for a card. I like it. For our next card, we're gonna do some ink blending. So I've got our pieces. I've cut out from the die set that's in the kit. I've cut out the little Happy Mail and its shadow piece. We have new mod stitched rectangle dies. So they have a rounded set of corners and then your regular squared off corners. And it's just a fun shape. And what I've done is I've cut it out and then I run it through with the embossing folder. I hope you can see the pattern there. Our embossing folders give really deep impressions. So they're really nice, give a lot of nice dimension to your card. And we're going to ink over this. I also have a striped piece of pattern paper that I'm gonna layer on our A2 top folding card front. I'll go ahead and glue that down first. Okay, so I have a purple plum color ink and I'm gonna use our mini Ergo blender brush. It's got really soft bristles. It's gonna give us really nice, easy ink blend. It's easy to hold and also easy to clean. So I'm just got the packaging from the embossing folder here that I'm gonna use as my backdrop. And I'm just gonna blend the ink on there. Oh, that's looking good. And look at that. I love the look of that. It highlights the embossed areas so nicely and just gives you a really pretty look. So we're going to put that on our card fronts, but first I want to wipe the ink off of our blender brush. So in between colors, you can simply just rub our blender brush off on our Scrub It Clean cloth, and you'll be ready to go to the next color. And when you're done completely with your brush, you can use our Squeaky Clean brush cleaner, and it'll take all that ink that you've put on it, it'll take it right off. Okay, so we're ready to assemble the rest of our card. We have our ink blended piece to lay on there. I love how that looks. It really makes that embossing pattern just pop. So much different than it just being embossed on the white. And now I will glue down the Happy Mail. Now all that's left is to finish it off with, you guessed it, some glitter dots. There we have another cute card. I went kind of tone on tone with the pink glitter dots. They add just a little bit of sparkle there. For this card, I'm using the adorable little snail in the stamp set, and I've die cut him out. You get the coordinating dies with the kit. And as of the filming of this right now, we do have some of these kits available for individual sale. So I have an A2 size card again, and I'm going to adhere down. I've cut with our layered rectangle dies a piece of the pattern paper. I love this blue. It just looks like linen. It's just a soft textured look, but without really being textured. I've cut out another one of our mod stitched rectangles, just in a little bit smaller size, and I'm gonna center that on the card. I have a strip of the striped pattern paper to go across, and then a strip of white where I've stamped Long Live Snail Mail. And I was gonna just stick the snail on top of the sentiment strip there, but I thought it needed just a little bit more. So I cut out, with the stitch circle dies, I cut out a pink circle, and we're gonna put him on the pink circle. And it kind of frames him nicely and gives him a place to sit. Kind of highlights the snail a little better than him just sitting on the card without it. So let's glue the circle down. Now I'll glue the strips down. And I want them to cover up part of that circle. We can just add our snail here, but I think I'm gonna add some dimension to the card and pop him up with some adhesive pop dots. And there we go, we have another cute card. Isn't he sweet? Okay, for this card, this is gonna be another super simple, pretty card. So I have a A2 size card here that I cut out of the teal cardstock in the kit. And I'm gonna glue a white layering piece that I cut with our layered rectangle dies. And I cut that so it has just a slight, small border of teal around it. And I cut this piece just slightly smaller than that, just so it kind of pops off the card with that little white border around it to frame it. Look at that polka dot. This pattern papers have so many pretty patterns. You can make tons of cards with this kit. And I love that our kits, everything just matches and coordinates perfectly. So you can literally just pull out the kit and start making cards with some adhesive, scissors, maybe your die cut machine, you know, to use the dies, and the embossing folder. It's just so easy to make cards with the kits. So I've stamped Hugs Enclosed to go on this card, and I've stamped it on the gray cardstock, and I was gonna add it down here. So I just wanna add something a little extra to make this card sparkly. So I have some Stickles glitter glue here. That's just my favorite way to add glitter to cards. And I thought I would just outline this gray outline for the flowers. So I've outlined that flower design with the glitter glue, and I think it looks gorgeous. It just takes it to that next level. And so we'll glue down our sentiment. And there is our card. It's really pretty sparkly flowers. Now we're ready for our last card. So I've cut out with our stitch circle dies this pretty plaid paper, and with the scallop circle dies, I've cut out this plum scallop circle to go behind it. For our layering pieces for the card, I've cut out a piece of teal to go as the background. And then in this really pretty yellow cardstock that's in the kit, it has this really nice sheen to it. I thought it would look really pretty being embossed. So I've just run it through with our embossing folder. You see those really cute envelopes and hearts on there. We're just going to layer those together. I'm going to glue our circle to the scallop circle. So I want this to go kind of off the edge of the card here. I just like the way that looks, to have something going off the edge instead of just being completely within the card. So I'm going to glue this down and then cut off the edge before we adhere it to the card. Now we'll just trim off the excess. Now we're ready to glue all our layering pieces onto the card. So there we have our card base, and I've stamped and colored just the plain envelope that has that sweet little smile, and I've stamped "Sending Love" on the little note, and I've put some foam adhesive on the back, and we're just gonna pop that onto that circle there. It just creates a really sweet card. You've got all these little embossed details in the background. There we have our final card. Thanks for joining me today, friends, as we made cards with our February 2021 Crafty Courtyard kit themed Happy Mail. Do you craft along with me and make cards as I do, or do you just watch and wait and create later? Either way, I hope I've inspired you some to open up your kit and have some fun creating. Until next time, my friends, keep living the creative life.